Hey everybody. I wanted to share today. I hope the light isn't going away. The sun is setting. But maybe I'll move inside if it gets too dark. Is it too dark? This is our new backyard. I won't show you too much because it's a big mess in there. Ah! but it's very happy. It's very happy. Anyway, I just got back from a day away with some of our friends in our church at this. Look at that. It's a picture from where we were. Do you think we were in Napa Valley? No. We were right up the road, babies, in East Texas. And together in the vine. So we went to a vineyard to learn about how grapes and wine, grapes turn to wine and stuff, and how that relates to John 15, how Jesus said, I am the vine, you are the branches, and my Father is the vine dresser. It was such a rich time. And I'm grateful that we're Presbyterians and we can go do wine. I'm sorry if you might be a teetotaler and it might be difficult for you to understand. I'm sorry. But anyway, nobody was drunk, that's for sure. I had a few sips of wine. It was delicious. Anyway, that's the point. But I wanted to share this, so today it was like an all-day retreat, and last week I had driven 8 hours, the pilgrimage to the Quiet House, which is where I go to have my solitude retreat. And I did a little video once before from that area, from my cabin up on the hill, if you've seen that before. I think it's called, Can I Entice You to Solitude? So I just wanted to share a little bit because I've been given so much in the last couple of weeks. Guys, friends, family, I know you know how chaotic our lives have been for the last 8 months, in transition for that long. And so I feel so renewed and so refreshed. And can y'all hear that honking? Can you hear the honking? This is our new setting. There's a lot of honking and engines and things. It's going to be an ongoing theme to my new life because we used to live in such a quiet place. But anyway, I know God has something in that. I'm like, but so okay, I think I'll start first with telling about the day retreat. Just a couple of things from that it's just so incredible looking in depth at John 15. And so like the themes are that union of the vine and the branches with the Father, the vine dresser, fruit bearing, joy in the Father, and love, abiding's probably the biggest word, but not bigger than love. And Jesus, maybe one of the biggest things that I got is that Jesus never told us to do anything or gave us anything that he hadn't already received from his Father. And it's almost like, okay, the teacher didn't say this, so don't blame him, but I'm thinking, as I think about it, God, the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, they invite us into that fellowship. And so so Jesus receives from the Father, and the Spirit, the teacher did say this, the Spirit is the one who enables us to receive from the Father through Jesus and from Jesus, and to give to others. And that is the whole point of our lives. So, to learn to love as He has loved. So doesn't that give purpose to your days, your months, your years? But what I wanted to share from my own retreat in solitude is that, and it's something we kind of talked about in our little group, we had group discussions today, is what makes it hard to abide. And a couple of things, okay, I'm going to get back to the solitude. A couple of things that make it hard to abide, we said, and maybe the biggest thing we realized is feeling like maybe God doesn't really want us abiding. Maybe we're not good enough. Maybe we're not attractive enough to Him in that moment, or on that afternoon, or that morning that I wake up and I'm really an unpleasant person to be with. Whatever. When I'm struggling and when I'm ugly, can I abide? And so on my retreat in solitude, I'm just going to stick with that one. The other thing about that prevents us from abiding perhaps is it's all about what do you want. Jesus asked that in the Gospel of John at the very beginning, his first question. And so that is something that is central to our faith walk, is what do you want? And so our affections perhaps have, what we really want deepest down is that deep, deep, deep sense of belovedness, sense of belonging, sense of peace and joy that is in that relationship with God. But it's not the lowest hanging fruit. So this is what I shared with my group and what I want to share with y'all today, which is, so I went on my retreat, and for the first, it was going to be a shorter one than usual, so I had 2 full days and 3 nights and a morning. So for 48 hours at least, I just kind of waited on God, like not just sitting, but I was waiting and I was asking Him. I was seeking Him. I did things like I read, I prayed, I sat out and looked out on the view, I took walks, I journaled and just wrote about what I was feeling, thinking, wanting. But I kept asking God, almost every hour, like, please come, please meet me face to face. It was like I was in a conversation with Him on the phone, but I know what it feels like for Him to come and talk to me face to face is the best way for me to explain it. And that's what I was asking of Him. And I arrived with a lovely sunset, and it was clear skies, and then it became misty and yucky and dreary and dank and dull for about 24 hours. And during that time, I thought I was going to lose my mind. It was so weird. It was drippy, 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 drippy. It was like such a thick mist that it was just dripping off the seat, the wall, the roofs, the walls of the roof. And I always keep my windows open there. I try to, for the wind to come in. But eventually I was like, if I hear that dripping any longer, I'm gonna go crazy. And so I thought, maybe if I close the windows. So I closed the windows, and that did help. And I had a hot microwave burrito and it just kind of like, it was becoming evening, so it was like, okay, let this day end. It's so depressing. But so I laid in my bed, and even though I'd closed all the windows, over the roof, the ceiling right there is kind of low over the bed. Drip, 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 drip. And I was just like, oh my God. But I got up the next day and I felt happier, even though it was still super cloudy. It was like this white, gray sky. And so I was telling the Lord, there is no beauty here without light. Without the light coming through the trees and bringing shimmering leaves, without the light hitting there's a little river there. There's no sparkles on the river. There's no color in the birds. I can't even tell what birds these are. Every bird is gray, and what else? Speaking of birds, and I was so overcome with it. And that's kind of what happens on a retreat, is you're in this conversation with God, and these things begin to take shape with theme. And I was like, so what I felt like he said was, I'm the one who said, let there be light, and I am the light of the world. And I spoke back to him and was like, you are the light in everything. Just like without the sunshine coming through the clouds, there is nothing. There is no shape, there is no color, there is no beauty. That is exactly the same way it is without you. Everything gets boring and dull and tasteless even, and textureless, and he was like, yes, and I've shown you that. And so anyway, so I was like, well, I'm just gonna wait on you. It was like another day, my second full day, and it was cloudy and it was a little misty on and off, but I felt kind of cheerful. And so anyway, around afternoon, I think it was 2 or 3 in the afternoon, was the time where just sitting on the kneeler in there, I sat on it with my back to the kneeling part, like where you put your hands. I sat and I just with some coffee, and I just was waiting on God and just talking to him, and yeah, golly. And anyway, to not talk too long, I felt like he was really reminding me of how he's met me in the past, and I was kind of like, gosh, that was just so life-changing. I know your presence can be vivid and glorious, and I just long for that. And so I went and sat out on the porch that overlooks the valley, and it's usually so beautiful, but it was kind of not that beautiful because there wasn't any light coming through the clouds, and the sky was that white gray and just nothing. And so, but we continued the conversation, and before I knew it, God was meeting me face to face. And I started just sobbing because he was speaking to me about things that are deep in my heart. And I was crying and sobbing, and I had forgotten to bring out my Kleenex. I had meant to, so I had to get up. And I think I had stuff I had to get up. I don't remember what, maybe my laptop for journaling. Go in to get the Kleenex. And when I came back out to the patio, the sun had broken through. The whole sky was streaming light through the valley. And on the rooftops down in the valley, they're I think there must be metal. They were just gleaming, glistening. And the light was giving color to all the boring grasses and trees. And I knew that God was saying, I am real. And I have heard your cries. and I have come. It just kind of almost like, if not the most important thing, was him saying, I see you. I see you. I'm using the language that we've been using in our conversations, in our phone conversations, and now I'm using the language of the let there be light in our face-to-face. And so it was so special. And just one more thing I want to share is that another miracle happened. I call it a miracle. I'm sorry if that seems offensive, but I was sitting back at my desk where I sit inside, and to journal. I was writing some of this down, and this was actually, for time's sake, this was an hour or two later. I was sitting back at the desk. I'd had to go meet my spiritual director. I had to cut my time short with the Lord to go be with the spiritual director, but I was hoping to keep talking about it. But my car broke down on the way down the hill, and it was a complete distraction from my time. And I just take that as, something God allowed, something perhaps my spiritual enemy didn't want to let the seeds that were planted in me of that time with God to take root. But it was crazy. We had to call a tow truck. We had to wait on the tow truck. We had to call the mechanics. It was cuckoo. And then the car ended up healing itself as I had to try to get it down the hill. It healed itself, and I got to come back up and just continue my retreat. But anyway, and so I was journaling because I never met with my spiritual director. And I was sitting there writing, and I'll look up and I'll gaze out this window right in front of me. There's a little window, and I'll just look out on the trees and see what action's happening or whatever. And it's not over the valley. It's just straight ahead trees. And but all of a sudden, this bird landed on the windowsill, right there in front of me, right out the window. And it was an absolutely magical bird. It was a bird I've never seen in my whole life, the most beautiful bird I've ever seen in my whole life. I have never seen one at the Quiet House. I've probably spent, I don't know, a total of 30 days there or something at all different seasons. And I could not, y'all, I can't, okay, I'm gonna show you. I drew a little thing, I traced it, and I colored it that night. But this is the bird I traced from a picture I took, okay? He was literally red, blue, yellow, green, and he's called a painted bunting. I looked him up. He stayed there for probably a full minute, which was absolutely crazy. First, I just stared at him and didn't want to move, and I was like, who are you? And then and I picked up my phone, and I started taking pictures, and he was looking right at me. I got the funniest pictures of him looking at me, and then he turned around, showed his little backside, and then he flittered off. And I couldn't believe it. Guys, God, he will condescend. He will condescend to meet your heart's needs. I don't know, he does sometimes give us the low-hanging fruit, which is like, God, I need you right now. I mean, just saying that in the midst of a busy workday, and lo and behold, there's a billboard telling you he loves you, or whatever. Whatever. But he also, if we can't find him, if he's not giving the low-hanging fruit, reach for that high-hanging fruit, the higher-hanging fruit. And he wants to come. He wants to come in the craziest, sweetest, most fun ways. There went a beautiful red cardinal. All right, you friends, I love you. Bless you on your journeys. Talk to you soon. Subscribe to my channel and you'll get notifications if you set it up that way for when I do another one. I've been doing some shorter videos on Instagram, some 1-minute things. Oh yeah, I'm trying to put them on my YouTube channel too. I'll try to remember to do that. Anyway, I love being in fellowship with y'all this way and any other way. Trying to follow you if I see you places too. Blessings, blessings. Bye.